We are here with Blythe, singer, songwriter for the metal band Lamb of God, also an author and now conservationist. Randy, bienvenido.
Hola, bien.
What was the genesis of the idea? You go, you travel, you surf in Ecuador. The landscape started changing. What moved you to start this project?
I first started going to Ecuador after meeting my friend Carlos Ojeda. He's an Ecuadorian who he was in North Carolina where I was, and we met surfing. He's like, if you like these waves, you need to come to Ecuador. I know spots you'll love. So I wound up going there and becoming really good friends with him and his family and a lot of the locals. And Carlos had already, his family had already started doing some conservation efforts there. But even the places where we surfed, when I've returned with a year in between, or like this last trip, 2 years because of the pandemic, you can see a marked difference in the coastline. You know, particularly one of the beaches we surf at, it's just eroding. And as Carlos always talks about, there's a lot of destruction of the mangroves, which is a valuable barrier, you know, and it's its own ecosystem. So it's just such a beautiful place. I love going there to surf, but I don't think it's right just to go somewhere and take waves and not try and appreciate the culture or the people there, and if you can, make it a better place.
Let's talk about funding too.
Yes.
Because conservation, unfortunately, doesn't happen without money.
No, it does not. Beyond just buying the land, we have to have it surveyed. We have to have an environmental scientist come and look at it. We have to fence the land off. We have to break the land up because this particular land was cattle land and the ground was compacted. We have to break it up. You know, we have to pay for ceilings. We have to pay for people to plant this stuff. It all costs money.
Yes.
It's not just like, I'm gonna buy this land and it's gonna be magic.
It's gonna happen, yeah.
It all costs money. So I was thinking, my job kind of disappeared for 2 years.
Yes.
So I was like, how can I fund this? How can I fund this? And I was like, oh yeah, Cameo. So from the beginning, I said in my Cameo statement, I said, I'm using this to fund a private reforestation project. I didn't really explain much about it. Luckily, I have a pretty good reputation as an ethical guy with my fans. So after I went back, after 2 years, and I saw the work it had done, I made this rewilding video as a sort of thank you to the fans to show them, okay, here's what we've done.
Let's talk about the video now.
Yeah.
For us, it's a short documentary, and that's how we found it too,
right.
And many of your fans found about it.
The major impetus for the trip this last time, I told Carlos, I'm like, we need to document this. And just tried to show, if you look at the video, the sort of difference between what was and what is now. And then edited it and put it together. Because we live in a visual society, you know, and I think me writing or even just saying, oh, I have this piece of land and we're working on it, it's cool, but it's a lot cooler when people can see it.
Can see it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about metal.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, metal artists were less vocal about this type of causes, and it makes me wonder, maybe the aggressive nature of the genre prevented many of us to talk about saving nature and loving trees and all these conservation efforts.
Well, I think some metal bands certainly spoke on social and even environmental issues, you know, and problems that are facing us as the environment. For example, Metallica, their album Ride the Lightning starts off with Fight Fire with Fire, which was written during the Cold War. It's about the danger of nuclear annihilation. So that's environmental. I think because the genre is relatively young when you think about it, you know, it's not that old of a genre. I think as it's grown naturally, there's several artists that have grown into seeing it as a platform to express their views on things like conservation and nature.
I wish you all the luck.
Gracias, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, of course.